I don't know how well this is going to render. I don't know how well this is going to turn out. You must genuinely fall in love with the process of achieving more in life, right? And the reason that I say you must fall in love with the purpose and the path to the success that you are chasing is because without love for the game, you cannot make it to where you actually want to be in life, right? I'm in bed right now, but I'm just thinking, I thought this is a good time to make a video. You need to full focus on the path to the success. And for example, I want to be a pro fighter, and I also want to be successful in my agency. I love training. I love learning new technical shit. I love practicing my technique and doing the same kick 100 times over and then the next kick 100 times over. But then I also love making 100 cold calls and seeing how many meetings I can book and learning and understanding more things about people. And all these little things that get you closer to eventually becoming the person that you want to be, which for me is to be a man of value and to be a man that's capable of doing things that benefit the people close to him and his loved ones. Instead of only focusing on the final destination here, you must also focus on the journey, because a man that never thinks about stopping will walk 1,000 miles. So if you never think about stopping, if you just really enjoy the journey, then you are going to become successful as a byproduct of that. So stop thinking about a long-term goal and start thinking about the actionable steps you can take that will eventually, when time catches up and reality catches up, turn you into the man that you want to be. And that is how you fall in love with the game. You do the same thing 10,000 times over, and you make it entertaining, and you make it fun in your mind, and you make it good. It's gotten to the point now where, to give another example with fighting, when I first started fighting, I was quite scared of the pain, but I actually really like it now. I really like the feeling of being in pain and the satisfaction it gives me, knowing that I've walked out of a spar with a black eye and my nose is bleeding everywhere. It gives me a weird sense of satisfaction, knowing that I pushed through that. I kept going even when it hurt, even when I was in pain. I kept going and I liked it. I enjoyed the pain. And that's part of the process to becoming a better fighter. So you need to enjoy the pain of life in general, because you can't have highs without the lows. And the lows usually tend to last longer than the highs. But the longer the lows last, the more you appreciate the highs when it's there. That's why I'm willing to sacrifice it all right now for a better future, like I made a video on a couple of videos back. Oh shit, that's cold. What's the other little emojis? Is there a love heart one? I think there's a love heart one, I swear. Maybe I'm bugging. But yeah, I'm willing to go through the pain and suffering of what it takes now. And the thing is, people might see these videos and people might see me as a person, but I don't really talk too much about me. They don't see the struggles and the pain that I've been through and that I go through and the stress on my shoulders and the pressure. They don't see none of that. And I keep a very good job of making sure that I keep composed and don't break under stress and pressure. And a part of that's also due to fighting, because of the poker face that you have to pull when you get hurt, etc. But you need to enjoy the pain of the process, because you won't get anywhere without significant amount of pain. Pain is one of the biggest drivers towards success, because usually when something painful happens to you, it tends to shoot up from there, because it gets to a certain amount of time when you endure that pain and you can't be bothered with enduring that anymore. You decide, I'm going to make a change. Look at fat people for an example, yeah? Those guys oftentimes eat themselves away to death. But other times, a lot of fat people end up getting in great shape because they've had enough of the pain and they've had enough of the feeling of being fat and their own confidence. So, in general with life, pain usually means that there's about to be a significant point of increase, a bullish movement in life, right? Another very good point is that you have to be very mentally strong as well, because that path that you're taking isn't meant for everyone, because if it was easy, people would be doing it and they'd be succeeding. You have to be very mentally fortified. And what I mean by this is, in life, people either sink or swim, right? You give somebody a certain scenario and you put them in that scenario of pain for a long enough time, and you will understand what kind of person they are due to the reaction that they have to that scenario. So they will either sink or they will swim, right? They will either push past it, push through the blockade, and they'll find enough strength in them to swim to the top and not drown. But then you also get people that drown. They are the people that don't really have the strength in them. And some people are destined to die drowning. But some people live long enough to eventually swim to the top. So you have to be mentally strong when you go through challenging things in life. I don't want to get on a tangent. I feel like I might have gone a little bit off topic, but that's fine because it's still valuable information for you kids. And I want to compile this up and put it in a YouTube video. But you need to be resilient. You need to be strong. You need to fall in love with the process. You need to fall in love with the pain and think of it as a good feeling, because you know there's going to be exponential growth as soon as that pain goes away. Well, I mean, you can't really make pain go away without action. Otherwise, pain's always going to be there. So once you take action for the pain to go away, you're going to feel so good, like you're on top of the world. There's been many times in my life when I've had a significant amount of pain over many years. And now that I'm out of that because I took action, I feel fantastic. For example, I genuinely don't believe that there is anything that could stop me at all, ever. Unless something is genuinely against the laws of nature and physics, nothing could stop me from ever achieving anything I want. And I genuinely believe that. But obviously self-belief is a topic for a different day, which I shall probably cover, to be honest, because it's very important. But it's all about, like I said before, just enjoying it. And you might find really challenging things in life, maybe even from your childhood, that you never really faced. But you see that it somewhat has an impact when you analyse yourself, which is what a lot of people don't do enough of. Once you overcome that, I can't explain the feeling to you. You feel almost invincible. It's a good feeling. It's a great feeling. And on top of that, you become a better person as well. Instead of falling back into old habits and old ways, you actually become a better person. It all starts with understanding that you are in a point of life that is painful, but also understanding that you need to endure this to become a better person. So, you must push past any limiting beliefs, any pain, anything like that, and you must love the process and enjoy every last minute of it, because you will miss it when it's gone. I missed so many times in my life where I was stressed and I couldn't sleep at night, and I'd stare at my ceiling, or I'd listen to things happen around me and see things that I shouldn't have seen, and I missed that because maybe it's to do with human nature, but there's a comforting part to me about being stressed. I find it comforting knowing that something painful is happening to me, because it means I'll have exponential growth in the time to come. So implement the ideas of what I said from this video. Take the tips and take the obviously short little sections I mentioned, as breaking it down, and understand that this is how you find success with anything. Don't be stupid and naive to think that life isn't going to be hard on you and you won't go through some painful things.